Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Brook in the Air. Wonderful to have you all here, and as usual. And today we're going over the death of first class, at least in the West.
But first class can't be dead. I wrote on it recently.
How recently?
I don't know. You were there.
So what we wrote on was domestic first class, or otherwise known as domestic first, premium first, first in the West for some airlines. Depends on what the brand name is. Nevertheless, domestic first cannot be construed with what is known as a true first class. There are some airlines in the world that have a true first class. Airlines like Singapore, Etihad, Emirates, Air France.
So basically, not American.
No.
Well, not airlines in America.
No.
United States.
No.
Oh, fine.
Because truly, first class in the West is dying. But there's a handful of airlines in the world that offer a true first class. This, however, is not first class. And what we're going over today is the steady death of it. Now, this doesn't mean airlines are reverting to all economy. If they did that, they would lose money. One second.
Well, how about you go through what classes exist first?
Well, those vary per airline. In general, yes. There are technically 5 classes. Well, 4 mainline classes. There's basic economy, premium economy, business, and first.
So premium economy, just for kicks and giggles, is more legroom, more chair space, and that's about it.
Not really. It's interesting because it's been marketed lately as a new stopgap feature, or intermediary feature, if you will, between economy and first class, or economy and business, somewhat like in between. They do offer expanded legroom, enhanced food and beverage, similar to what you get from business class. The same in-flight entertainment system a business and first class get. Not as nice of a amenity kit, but you still get an amenity kit, which is more than economy gets.
So it's basically lower class, lower middle class, upper class.
Yeah, pretty much. Virgin Atlantic, meanwhile, is one of those is phasing out as first class, essentially.
Why?
It's not competitive.
So what, it just costs too much and isn't reasonable when they could stuff more business flyers in there?
Pretty much. You look at a lot of Western airlines. Air Canada, for example, here. We have United also combining their first and business class into Polaris. Air Canada's combined their business and first class into what they call a signature class. Qantas is making a similar effort in that. They're pretty much having their business classes condensed into first class on expanded routes from Sydney to London and New York.
Was it just mostly that they're doing it because if people aren't going to pay, especially in the West, for opulence, because they just want to get from point A to point B, they don't want to have an adventure and go in style? Well,
that's partly it. Part of it is also because of the advent of the Concorde back in the 70s. The airlines assumed that people would rather pay premium prices, to like in the thousands, to jet literally from point A to point B, transcontinental or transatlantic or transoceanic, otherwise.
But that's having a pretty aircraft inside that also gets you there faster. They should have gone the cruise ship route, which is, yes, you're going to get there. It's going to take a little bit longer, or take the same amount of time, but you get to travel in luxury. You get to experience it for longer. So instead of the flight taking 4 hours, it takes your standard 6 or 8, and you
That's
get to.
why business beat out what they assumed would be a premium product than the Concorde, and why the Concorde only has service life of maybe 23 years.
Well, it also only had a service life of 23
Well,
years.
the accident didn't really have anything to do with it.
Oh, no, I was talking about the fact that it basically had so many rumors of noise problems, plus blowing out windows and all that. It's kind of like, so it couldn't go everywhere.
Well,
It's
no,
kinda the same
I mean,
problem
it
the
was
380s
limited
have.
to transoceanic routes. And a ticket on Concorde costs more than the price of business class today. Nowadays, people can afford business class with maybe less than the price of half a paycheck.
Unless you do it on payments.
Unless you're on payments, in which case it costs less than that, you just pay for time.
And the Concorde, it was the time of Das Uberrich can fly.
Yes, the Nouveau Riche, essentially. Or New Rich. Basically, with the death of Concorde came the first true business class, which British Airways claimed to invent in 1979.
Ah, how the mighty have fallen, but that's a whole different thing.
They introduced the very first lie-flat seats. They introduced the very first true amenities in business class, aside from the very pompous wine and dine experience of first class. They introduced club class, which is their business, and they would steadily mold business into first, and have club class, club world, and the rest.
Well, that's also because before then, wasn't flying like an absolute vacation adventure where only those who were completely dressed up and looked wonderful were the ones that could fly, and then, of course, all the plebs got to fly and were coming on and making it look grungy and blah blah blah. So, like, we must segregate it.
That's actually more true than you know, because the current overall landscape in the U.S. is to relegate everyone who doesn't look the part to low-cost carriers, and relegate those who do look the part to full-fledged legacy flag carriers.
And it's also why they separate, even just on a single plane, with a curtain. So those who have paid for the grand, glorious adventure don't have to look upon them.
And there's
It's incredibly
also...
classist.
Yeah, it really is, and I'm by no means advocating for it. I'm simply saying how it is.
And let's be honest, you also abuse the system so you can see how the wealthy live. It's kind of like every single time you go on a plane, you've won the lottery and you have this big amount of money. So it's like, yes, it can be like on a plane, Cribs version. It kind of is.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, like I said, anyone can realistically afford business class now. I'm not saying it won't be tight. It will, but it's affordable. If you want to travel from point A to point B business class, it's doable.
It's the same thing, like, to put it into another perspective, like all of you who want to rent a supercar just to experience it. By all means, go for it. We're not going to judge. But don't judge us for flying in first class or in
Now
business
we're getting
class.
off topic.
No,
I mean,
let me finish. We shouldn't judge each other for that. So, but to go back to the car metaphor, it's kind of like we're having less high-end cars to choose from because they're starting to go away from it. So it's now just kind of sports and supercars. But anyway, I digress.
so this is Air Canada's signature class. This is what they combine their international business class and first class into. It's actually very nice. You get a bottle of water when you come on board. You get a welcome beverage. You get a amenity kit. The seats are fully lie flat. They slide down and convert. You join the ottoman that's not pictured here. And the ottoman and the seat can form a 6'2" bed.
And of course, they have the center part for couples. You only actually see 3 out of the 4 rows here.
Yeah, there's the back end. Now, what's behind here, you ask? That's economy.
That goes back to my classism separation, and it's also
See, this is just a curtain. This is actually a full-fledged divider.
Yeah.
Because here you have the entrance, exits. Could go either way. 2 curtains per side, almost completely soundproof.
Well, they also put the curtains up so in case somebody drops a stinker, that the smell won't waft in hurt the delicate noses of the upper class.
And having been on their transcontinental route, I can tell you, the overhead bins are huge with a lot of space. Just immense amount of space.
Yeah.
It's
Because
fantastic.
again, you're paying for stuff, and they actually expect the first class not to want their clothes to get wrinkled, their stuff to be too shoved around. Like, you're paying for this. Like, let's be honest. The ticket for this one way, depending upon how far it is, would probably be somewhere around the realm of $250, $500,
No.
depending upon when you buy it.
No. When you buy it, one-way ticket is around $751,000.
Okay, yeah. I ballparked it low to, but I was thinking more domestic. So yes, $750, $1,000. Whereas if you go in economy, you're looking at anywhere from $100 to a couple hundred.
You're better off just upgrading your business here. Because with the additional expenditures of a checked bag and whatnot, and like all the additional add-ons that you're going to need for a safe flight, plus trip and travel insurance, same thing really.
Yeah.
You're going to be better off having spent that money on business, and you're going to look at your thing and go, why didn't I upgrade? Well, you got your last chance to upgrade is at the airport for your flight.
Plus, this will be something that a lot of you will actually like. You get all the alcohol you want
Yes.
for free.
Yes.
Let me just re-illustrate that. All the alcohol you want. They will literally refill your glass on a regular basis and only stop when you become knocked down, puke drunk.
If they have to carry your arse off the plane, then too much.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no higher class than Signature for Air Canada. This is as high as it goes. Even their premium elite 500,000 point members can only go to Signature class. The thing that differentiates Signature passengers from everyone else is the ground service, really. Outside the airplane, the ground service is exemplary. Planes arriving in Canada, transfers, you get driven to your gate in a very, very nice Porsche.
Which, of course, you guys will get to experience that along with us when we post the videos of our trip to Germany. Because we have switched over to Air Canada Signature class the whole way. Both there and back.
Originally, we had Lufthansa for an intermediary trip from Frankfurt to Munich, but that just wasn't worth it. And we didn't want to get to the airport by like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And that's the other thing. If you need to change anything about your flight, I can tell you from experience, they are a lot nicer to you if you're in Signature First Business than they are if you're in Podunk Economy.
If you're in economy, they'll change it for you for a price.
Mm-hmm.
You get 24 hours after you book the ticket, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you're in Signature class, however, you can change to your heart's content any flight, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
Although it's better to talk with an agent overall.
Yeah. And when you get to low-cost carriers, good luck if they even let you change. We're not kidding.
My fellow reviewers on YouTube, one guy, Eric Strunk, has done a review of Spirit Air twice, and every time has been a disaster. There's no customer service. There is no service whatsoever. You have to pay for everything. The seats on the aircraft are bucket seats that dig into you.
Can vouch, I've had to fly Spirit from Cleveland to LAX and back. That was no. Just no.
You would love to take that trip again.
No. No.
And you have to, they offer snacks, but you have to pay for everything. You have to pay for bottled water. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised they didn't have coin-operated bathrooms.
You watch those coming.
Oh, I can believe it. Or they make you put in a coin just to put your seat back or open your tray table.
Thanks.
But anyway, I digress with the tangents.
So this is the inside of the same cabin I showed you. This is the interior of the A330 version of the Signature Class seats. Air Canada offers their Signature Class on long-haul flights on their A330s, 787 Dreamliners, and 777-300ER aircraft. You get a slightly mobile in-flight entertainment screen.
Yes, it swings out on an arm for those of you who need an explanation on that.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't? It
Nope.
just rotates a little?
It just rotates.
Oh, okay.
By about 20 to 30 degrees.
Oh, right. They didn't go with a lot of that. You'll notice the seat is fabric. Why, you ask?
So, many people have this preconceived notion that a very upper class seat should be leather, or at least pleather, or some kind of latex version for some reason.
Case in point, the office chair that she's sitting.
Yeah. And honestly, when you're in a flight for 8, 10, 12, 14 hours, even 6 hours for that, you're going to be begging for fabric. Fabric is moisture wicking. It keeps the heat from escaping your body while not making you too hot. It wicks the cold away too. When you're provided with a duvet and a comforter and a pillow, as you are in a Signature Class, you're pretty much guaranteed a very, very sound night's sleep to wake up at your destination refreshed.
Yeah. Case in point, I assume many of you have been to restaurants. When you sit in those booths that are the leatherish vinyl level of chairs, how much can I bet you that you sometimes get stuck just trying to get out of the chairs? And that is because, again, low quality, and it's a leatherish style. I have actually gotten stuck in my own leather office chair. And you literally have to pull yourself out, and it just sticks to you and then pulls your skin.
Oh yeah. Not enough to tear your skin, but enough to pull and make you feel like, this is really squishy and uncomfortable. Yeah.
Plus, fabric on top of that also does not as much sun damage as easily as leather, nor does it flake off.
Oh yeah. The only synthetic leather type on the seats are Air Canada's headrest portion. That are a little flap that you can.
That is not everybody that does it, though. We'll get to that in a bit.
How to control the seat is right here. This actually becomes a seat interactive menu of controls when you're in flight.
Yeah. We're sorry about the picture quality. If there was a way to blow it up and move around, or if she had a laser pointer, we're still trying to get that.
Yeah. So basically, this entire thing folds up to reveal a very nice storage compartment and your AC adapters and your various outlets. There's a small container here that I never found much use for other than putting your passport, boarding documents, embarkation, disembarkation paperwork if you're given any. Under here, way under here is the ottoman. Basically one seat slides into the other seat.
And again, you'll get to see a better version of this in full visual. We'll probably be uploading that sometime in January.
Late January, probably. Around the same time with your taxes.
Yep. And that will be what we experienced in December.
Yep. And well, December and January. So yeah. There is a literature packet over here, and there is a drink compartment over here beside the seat. This little armrest comes up and down, up and down. All you have to do is push and pull.
So you can get yourself out of it, and as just as a nod to Vicarious Voyager, the seat can fit 2 people or one normal
size American, yes. Exactly.
Because, yes,
and this
we're
is
chunky.
the tray table right here. Obviously, it's in a stow position. Can't really stow it appropriately, but it does fit nicely in there and folds out and then out again to make a full-size tray table.
That's actually a nice design because it gives you a little bit of a lip to store other things on before you pull the tray table out, so you can still put things there.
Yeah, I think that was by design, really.
Yeah.
Also, the 787 windows on the Dreamliner are very nice. They are interactive. They can dim, go smoky, or clear at the touch of a finger on the button.
Or sometimes from that control, right?
Yeah, except this is not a 787. This is an A330.
Yeah, it's an Airbus, so they do not have the adjustable unless they've upgraded them or are using a newer model.
They are in the process of upgrading their A330s, although they have completed a major upgrade, so at this point it'll be a minor upgrade to finish up.
Yeah.
Before this, Air Canada had no true first class. It was their international business class, their premium economy, and economy. And people kept wondering when they would have a true first class offering. Well, the answer is never.
Well, and that's because, again,
They have poured everything into their signature class.
Well, it's also because the people who wanted true first class, there was not enough who were going to be flying on a daily basis to justify the cost of the upgrades.
No. Like, okay, we'll take an example. Say, for example, you're flying in a 77, which typically has around 440 seats. Now, in a one-class configuration. Now, we'll say you're going to allot 22 of those for first class. Extravagant amount, but we'll say that's the first class cabin. You're going to allot maybe 60 for business pods. And the rest will be economy. I mean, you're not going to make much money off those 22 people.
Yeah. And if this
provided you had the full first class cabin full.
And if this was an Air Canada flight, the most likely the normal run would probably be, and this is using demographics, Toronto to New Delhi.
On extreme long haul flights, yes.
Well, and since you wanted more first class business, that's why I chose it.
And if it was a domestic route, it would be from Toronto to, say, Vancouver. Those are two main hubs. Or on a super long haul route, Toronto to
Brisbane?
No, Toronto to, say, Beijing.
Beijing or Singapore, yeah. But yeah.
Or Taipei?
The gas has to be justified, the catering has to be justified, and all those specialty things just didn't really seem to have a point.
See, when it comes down to it, airlines are a business like anything else, and everything has to be economically justified.
Anyway.
And this is the other view of the signature class cabin. This is at the very front of the aircraft. That's on the other side. You do a little change in perspective.
Last one was 4K, this one's 4A.
4A. So this one you can tell is still on the ground because there's a jetway right there. It doesn't really get any more of a first class offering than this. Has the seat menu engaged, so you can see the outline of the seat right here if you look hard enough. And there's the lie flat option here, and the straighten up option here. And down here is the ottoman, so your feet kind of swing outwards in that in the seat position. This person selected to leave their passport and ticket right here. Not where I'd put it, but that's up to them. This is not the A330 because this only has one compartment right here.
Oh no, it's definitely a Dreamliner because if you notice, it doesn't have the covers. And
if you notice, it has the window controls right here for each window. So this is a Dreamliner. You can tell the Dreamliner has a bit less room, but it doesn't really matter because you can still stretch out.
And again, we apologize for the quality of the pictures. The plan is to get better cameras and perhaps even a projector all set up so that you guys can see it even without the little extra picture up here. But anyway, I digress.
So this is United's version. United used to have a first class of sorts and an international business class. Both were impressive in their own right.
And this is definitely International Polaris because we haven't ridden on this.
No, we have not. This is Polaris class. You can tell it because the bedding and pillows are all made by Saks Fifth Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And blue light kind of gives away a little bit. and you can see the yeah, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 1 by 2 by 1 layout. The same layout that Air Canada used for their signature class. But this is United's offering. This is their Polaris class.
Yeah. Also, we're going to bring this up. Another thing that you get to do when you've paid for the Polaris tickets or the signature tickets, you get to take all the bedding with you.
They advise you not to.
Well, Polaris has said yes.
Polaris has said yes because they replace it after every flight anyway. But let's be clear about this: is the airlines technically say it is best to take the blanket and bedding with you. However, everyone takes that blanket with them, so I can't personally justify it. But at the same time, I'm saying, whatever happens, do it.
Well, and I think they do it as a full blanket thing to say that it's considered theft, but you notice that they only really enforce it in economy.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Economy doesn't really get it though.
well, you can ask for blankets and pillows.
You have to pay for those.
Well, and they're also not high quality. I mean, these are Saks Fifth Avenue and whatever everybody else has. I mean, these are not cheap, and they are not uncomfortable either.
No. They're down bedding. What you see here is a pillow, bedspread, or duvet, if you prefer, and blanket. Now they
You're probably
do.
also going to get pajamas.
No.
Oh, you don't get the pajamas?
No.
Oh, United doesn't do it. Okay.
No Western flight does pajamas.
Really?
Yeah.
Boo. We'll talk about the ones who get the pajamas later on.
And once again, fabric seats, but these are also cooling seats.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Gel cool padding.
Okay, yeah, we definitely need to go on it for Mr. Sweaty Boy.
You.
Yeah.
Here it says United Polaris. And since you're a Polaris passenger, you get access to the very elite, lucrative, and esteemed United Polaris Lounge.
You'll notice that there are these partitions. Yes, we know they don't go up very much, but they make more sense.
Actually, right here, the blue little locker. Let's go all the way up to here.
Yeah.
Separating you from the air passenger. So when someone's talking too much,
Yeah, the difference is you like window seats, so it doesn't matter.
only during the day.
Yeah, then why'd you get the window seat for both flights?
Oh, that's right. I'll probably change that.
If I
So
remember
these
correctly,
are your pop-outs through the entertainment remote. Air Canada has those too, but they're at an angle I can show you. But these are the pop-outs, and these are the outlets for your charging ports. And they identify any universal charging outlets and ports.
Actually, I think both of our flights still are during the day. We actually beat the sundown on the way back.
We chase the sun on the way back.
Okay. Anywho.
Let's see. We have a 2-point restraint harness right here for the seats.
Whereas the filthy plebeians only get the lap belt.
Mm-hmm. Now the good news is, if your plane does crash, your death will be painless and instantaneous.
Well, depending upon how you land.
I'm being general here.
Yes, it'll in general be quick. Unless somehow they get you down to the ground without too much damage and then fire. But in general...
If your plane crashes and burns and virtually everyone is dead, your death will be instantaneous and relatively painless. It'll be saying, what happened in the afterlife?
But here's also the other point. The chance of your plane crashing is very, 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 very low.
You have a better chance of winning the lottery.
You have a better chance of being in a car crash.
That's not saying much. People die in car crashes every day.
Yeah, so it's better to
And the only area on Earth with a terrible safety record is currently, Malaysia.
Well,
And that entire area.
or Nepal. But there's a different reason for that.
No, not even Nepal.
Really? They fixed their thing?
3 stars.
Really? Tibet fixed their stuff?
Within reason, it's not with the code.
No, yeah, okay. That's fair.
But airlines like Tiger Air, Air Asia to an extent, Lion Air, and even Scoot all give that area of East Asia a very, very poor safety record. The only safe airport in the area is Singapore.
Alright.
This is what Delta offers. Oh, I'm sorry. No, not Delta. This is what American Airlines offers for
That is
their
archaic as crap.
first class. Their first class and business.
Again, that is archaic as crap.
But this is state of the art.
For what, the 90s?
If you ask me, I would say 80s, but yeah.
I gave it the 90s for the simple fact that it's not very colorful.
No, and they have pleather for seats.
That is so dumb.
And their area here, I believe it's domestic first class, but it hasn't really changed. Has an integrated ice remote or in-flight entertainment IV remote, and drink table. There are additional tray tables spread out from here, and their reading lights pop out into a lower.
That doesn't even look like good fabric. That looks like suede.
It is.
Ugh. Can I move on from this?
Yes.
I feel dirty.
Yeah.
Now I still feel dirty.
This is what Delta offers for their domestic premium class, which
Dirty.
is essentially business. But yeah, this is their domestic offering for their premium passengers. And if you ask me, I'll stick with United.
That literally is a 2-2, which probably it's a 2-2-2. And it just,
Primarily 2-2 for domestic calls.
I mean, so sticky. If somebody spills soda in there,
Soda, blood, urine, it's all happened.
well, of course it's happened. Vomit.
Yep.
Oh, the stories flight attendants could tell. Now, I feel dirty again. Let's move on.
Now this is their Delta One suite for long haul international, 1-to-1 configuration, and their long haul A350s, 777s, and 787s.
Partition is pretty good, but it's probably a always up partition, I would guess.
No, it can be lowered.
You mean half of it can be lowered?
Yeah.
You still have to lean forward?
Actually, there's a window here too. So you'd have to like raise the shade and then lower the window.
Isn't that the whole thing so you can quote unquote see outside because it emulates it or something?
No, this is older than that.
Oh.
The only airline that has that is Emirates.
Which we'll get to them in a bit.
Now they have in-flight headphones you cannot take with you. Now that's not exclusive to Delta. You cannot take headphones with you on any airline unless you buy them outright.
But on the flip side, they are usually Bose, I think, aren't they?
Solid off Bose. And then you have your power outlets here. They have two, which is kind of nice. And you have your seat controls. IV remote is, I believe, down here. And then your tray,
leatherish.
yeah, leather chair, unfortunately. And tray table slides out.
Which, doesn't that mean they have to have turn down service?
Turn down service is offered, or you can arrange your own bed.
Yes, which would be a better suggestion because a lot of the other ones that have fabric seats, you don't have to worry about that. You can put the sheets on, but not necessary.
They give you turn down service, but you can always turn away and do it yourself.
And now for a more personal touch.
We have, as you can tell by the crew, Qantas and their new Project Sunrise, which they're installing now, but won't hit the Skylanes until 2025.
And how much are these going to cost?
Upwards of $10,000 per trip one way.
Well, I can kind of understand why they're 10,000 and why they wanted to make it this big. When you're flying from, I don't know,
Sydney to New York.
Yeah, when you're flying from Sydney to New York, that's a how many hour flight?
That's a 19-hour trip.
You're basically going to be spending a lot of time in here, so they want to make you comfortable. So basically having an apartment in the sky.
This is arguably, along with Singapore, the last true first class offering.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be taking the place of their existing first class. Pretty much all A350s. This is supposed to be on their new A350-1000, which have yet to really come online. A few have, but I mean, they have yet to en masse. Upon 2025, Qantas is estimated to take approximately 50 to 75 A350-1000s. And the graph over here is not just controls for the room, it's just your controls and time, temperature. Yeah, so you can adjust the temperature in your suites. To the flight route and everything else, and you can adjust your bedding, your ottoman, your chair. Yes, you have an actual bed. The chair's over here, tray table here, ottoman, your carry-on obviously. You have your integrated wardrobe, a 52-inch screen TV.
But let's be honest, how much does an economy class ticket cost going from New York to Sydney?
5,000.
Yeah. See, so in reality, 10,000 is not that much.
It really isn't. And while Qantas is a member of One World, you can still afford a ticket on, like, if you're a One World Alliance member. Say you're an American One World Alliance member, and you travel for some reason American Airlines everywhere you go. You can build up enough points, especially with a Citi Premium Advantage credit card. Build up enough points to earn miles, and you can travel on Qantas for, God, I don't know, like maybe $100.
Yeah, and it'd be the same thing if you and your girlfriend, wife, boyfriend,
Whatever,
are going without kids. Now, let's preface this. As long as you're usually going without kids, you could probably get one suite for the two of you. They allow that, right?
Oh yeah. If you have to buy 2 tickets, they allow 1 suite.
Yeah. So again, you could basically spend half the time cuddling in your bed where you would have to be stuck in seats otherwise.
Oh yeah.
And you've already marketed it for probably, let's be blunt about it, if you're going to Australia for a while, you've probably already set up about $30,000 to $50,000 for it.
At least, yeah. I mean, you don't have to. You can go on like a shoestring budget, but in that case, I still recommend traveling in Qantas like first or business class at least, because honestly, you don't want to spend 19 hours cooped up in economy.
Yeah.
Oh, and these new A350-1000s will be equipped with a no economy seating. They'll be first, business, and premium economy.
Yeah, so the parents and their children who are going to be probably in premium economy.
Oh yeah. Which fortunately keeps screaming kids far away from you.
Yeah. Anyway, the bed we spoke of.
Same suite, but different view. So you have lacquered real wood.
Oh yeah, they can actually see that in the last one too. The
Yep.
real wood walls.
And a complete, not a lie-flat seat, but an actual bed. A glowing wall, which has your sweet light, a reading lamp, and a complete folded bed. Like, not an actual, like, again, to reiterate, not a lie-flat seat, but an actual bed. Here's your seat right here. And which can lie flat by itself. But here's the actual bed.
So yeah, you could extend the bed to have it double up, which is why I alluded to the couples possibility.
Oh yeah. Now, granted, Qantas isn't the only airline that offers this. Singapore offers it too. But Singapore is a Star Alliance member, so maybe. We can take it one day. But in Singapore, it is nicer. They have a seat designed by Poltrona Frau. I don't have that on here. But, which is the same company that designed seats for Porsche. But overall, Qantas is doing something a little bit differently, but following the same pattern. Take advantage of their long distance.
If anybody would like pictures of what Singapore Airlines looks like, you can request it down
Or
below.
visit my blog.
Yes, obviously. Everything is always on the blog.
So this is a great shot of United Airlines 777. It's a maintenance facility in Houston. George Bush Intercontinental Airport. As A4 moves in. It's currently being renovated. Well, this is for a transit stop, but it's currently being filled up to be renovated for a renovation in Polaris class.
Boop. Speaking of the back daddy,
So yeah, Air France, they're the originators of. Well, that could arguably go to BA, British Airways, but Air France and BA kind of went like this. So, as a operator of Concorde, they created the first supersonic jet for passenger use. It served for 23 years before it had a catastrophic accident.
first one, then the other.
Yeah. But
One
that,
blew up, the other one, they're like,
and they decommissioned that one, and it's currently on display. You can see it at a museum. But anyway, with the exception of the Concorde, no other supersonic aircraft has really existed. People say that the Overture Boom supersonic aircraft will eclipse the Concorde and bring a new age of flight. You know what? I've heard that before. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to have a very niche offering, and very few are going to take it up on that.
oh, you mean like how everybody thought we were going to have rocketry travel?
Yeah, that too. People would rather, when it comes down to it, people would rather spend their money to travel in utter relaxing luxury for 8 to 10 hours than get from point A to point B in 4 hours.
That's why I still argue with you that rigid airships are the way of the future, or should be.
I think that Hindenburg poked a hole in that bubble.
I'm sorry. That was hydrogen because only Nazis use hydrogen. Everybody else who's intelligent uses helium.
Well, you know, they kind of lost faith in airships after World War One.
Well, of course they did, because everybody was so terrified about them getting shot down.
The only last use for blimps of any kind was in barrage balloons in World War II, when the United Kingdom used barrage balloons to interfere with Nazi attacks.
Well, you also know the reason why there aren't anymore, right? Goodyear has a whole patent on it.
Yeah, that too.
They don't want anybody to do it, so they'll have to pay Goodyear just to get any other rigid airships up. Yes, it's big tire conspiracies, man.
Let's totally burn down Akron, Ohio. Home of Goodyear.
No, we don't need to. All they need to do is have a fire and the tires will let on fire. Speaking of British Airways,
So this is the BA Concorde, with a 777 behind it. 777's right here. Concorde is here, obviously.
and the thing that the airplane behind the Concorde is going, please don't give me horrible wake turbulence.
So the Concorde could fly at top speed of Mach 2.4, but it was incredibly complex. Required a very, very skilled crew pilot.
Well, and also the maintenance for it was just absolutely ridiculous. Didn't they have to replace the tires on a regular basis?
Yes, it was known as a hangar queen because it spent more time in the hangar than it did on at gates, essentially. Let's see, 520 hours of average maintenance per cycle, as opposed to 170.
Well, yeah, because I mean, compare the maintenance that you have on something like, to use two around the time frame, an F4 Phantom to the SR-71.
There's no real comparison.
Well, let's see. At least the F4 Phantom didn't leak all the time.
So people thought this was going to be the new golden age of travel, essentially, and boy, were they wrong.
Well, again, it couldn't fly into as many places as they wanted to.
Well, that too, but it also didn't make any business sense. Businesses that were paid travelers to, or paid employees to travel internationally for business found it more profitable and more economically efficient to pay their employees to travel in subsonic aircraft 8 to 10 hours per trip than to pay them for a 4-hour flight from, say, New York to London.
Well, that's because that's all they did. They just did New York to London and New York to Paris. I mean, if they had expanded it to more locations,
It still wouldn't have made a difference. No.
Well, it would have made more sense. I didn't say a lot of sense.
It would have extended the life by maybe 6 months.
6 months, maybe a year, yeah. But
And they actually did studies that show that basically having an employee get some sleep on the flight, wake up refreshed and ready to go, and take a cab or taxi, whatever, from the airport to their meeting place was more efficient than having them rush to get in the Concorde to fly from, say, New York City to London and have a meeting the same day, rush back home on the same Concorde, and catch another 4-hour flight back from London to New York, and then go to work.
well, yeah, and plus with it being a hangar queen.
Because you're still going to suffer jet lag either way.
Oh, yeah. But anyway. Speaking of Qantas.
So this is the Qantas 787 Dreamliner. It's destined to be supplemented by the A350-1000 in 2 years' time. Less than 2 years, really, at this point. Currently, it's coming in for landing over the Tasman Sea,
Is it landing? I don't see the gear down.
or might have just taken off.
No,
Or
I think
this-
it's just passing through.
Yeah, just passing through. Yeah, probably. But this carries upwards of 350 passengers. Let's see, first class cabin 1, first class cabin 2, premium economy, and economy.
Yep.
Instead of first, it's more business than anything else. Because again, they're transitioning all their first class cabins to the Project Sunrise.
And it's the Spirit Australia.
Yeah, how about that? So now we have economy class over here. This is American Airlines economy class.
Yes, so quaint.
This is pretty much the same no matter what airline you're on.
Yeah.
The difference is some airlines like JetBlue actually have in-flight entertainment on the backs of their seats.
Oh yeah, this is definitely an older one too. You can also tell by the outfit.
The stewardess, yeah. But it still has the glowing lights up above. It signifies it's a brand new 737 or A320. Basically, rows upon rows of these seats and allow for a very, very uncomfortable flight, and are averaging $400 to $500 a pop.
Plus, let's be honest. If you're sitting on the window seat, is not the most fun except to look out. When you have to get up to pee,
You're
yes.
going to irritate and annoy everyone that way or that way.
Going back to comfort.
So this is Etihad's.
Q Suite?
No, that's Qatar.
Oh, okay.
This is Etihad's their apartment. This is a dual suite setup with a TV on your side. You have a 32-inch TV.
And this is the one that swings out on the arm, right?
No.
Why not? But where your head is, it would make more sense. You'd have to crane your neck just to watch the TV. It doesn't swing out.
Nope. But you can watch your same thing on here on the remote. The remote does pop out.
That's just dumb.
This is the one of the last true first classes in the Middle East and Europe.
I'm sorry, it has to swing out. That's the only thing that makes sense for that seat position.
Well, there's your seat over here, and then your bed is over here.
That's still dumb. If you're in bed, some people like to watch TV.
Yeah, especially when you have the door over here.
Nah. Son, I am disappointed.
I do have it. This is Singapore Airlines first class. I do have it. With a full-size bed over here. This is only available on Singapore Airlines A380 Vega plane.
And of course, the TV is opposite of the bed.
If you're walking into the suite, this is the first thing you see. TV is on this side over here, on this wall.
Yeah. You know, in an actual place that makes sense.
And you get two huge windows that you could probably fit your entire body out of. Not that you would want to at 38,000 feet. You can also order room service and have everything in your suite controlled by the tablet over here.
Also, is the tablet supposed to look like it has a face? I know that you guys can't probably see it.
Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
It also it's just a like a wallpaper or screensaver. As soon as it's touched, it goes away.
I'd find it absolutely hilarious if it talked to you and its mouth moved.
So Singapore provides these great pajamas over here. These are moisture wicking and they instill lotion in your body.
If you want to get a visual of somebody actually wearing it, Vicarious Voyager, right?
Vicarious Voyager and Luxury Travel Expert.
Yeah.
That's a great review. It's circa 2016, 2017, but they're still accurate. Nothing has changed.
Well, because you don't really need to change perfection that much.
Once you've attained the top, why change it?
Only complaint I have is that the chair is leather, but I understand why.
You know, with the chair being leather in here, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is true. Alright.
And if you want to spend the entire flight in your bed, you can do that too.
Yeah. Anywho. Boop.
So this is Emirates. No, this is Etihad. Sorry, Etihad again. They're business class instead of the first. I just showed you your first class suite. This is the enclosed business class apartment. So
That is a dinky apartment. Reminds me of New York.
So the suites fall into a lie flat bed. You have a 18-inch screen in front of you over here. You can't really see. There are doors that come in to isolate the suites. There
For
are
privacy.
Yes, there are partitions that slide down to isolate cabins. And they do give you a pillow, and later on in the flight they give you a blanket. You do not get pajamas.
Boo.
And that's all we have for you today. If you're interested, I will link Emirates offerings below. And I will have a new vlog for you next week. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I appreciate your continued presence.
There we go. Sorry, the much light reflection. It's washing you out.
You couldn't have fixed that earlier. And basically, I really encourage you to support my Patreon for additional content and behind the scenes information and shoutouts and all that good stuff. And I will see you next week.
Yeah. And definitely, if we get more patrons, we'll start listing them at the end of every single presentation.
That's what I just said.
That I repeat words. I do that. Any.
I will love you so much, and I will see you in the year.